Alright, today I'm going to be talking about Aries. The sign of Aries. I'm using my red marker. Aries is red. Aries is blood. Aries is danger. Aries. Aries is passion. Aries is drive. Aries is enthusiasm. Aries is competition. It is danger. You understand what I'm saying? It is danger. Well, that does not mean Aries people are all Aries people are dangerous, but yeah, they have the tendency to be dangerous. You don't want to get on an Aries nerves. So I'm going to be talking about Aries today, right? She's the sign of passion and drive, enthusiasm, motivation, competition. All these things are all what Aries points to. And Aries, in my own mind, in my own understanding of Aries is the sign of be yourself. When I say Aries is the sign of be yourself, is because Aries has all of the signs in their original places, in their houses that they rule. Aries has all the signs in the places that they rule. Aries has Aries in the first place. So Aries is the sign of be yourself. This is being your truest self. Aries is the sign of the natural man. He's ruled by Mars. You understand? Which is exalted in Capricorn. Which Aries has Capricorn in the 10th place. So when you consider Aries as a sign, that points to being agitated, being competitive, being enthusiastic, being very passionate about these things, you'll find that these tendencies actually being impulsive. You'll find that this tendency often throws the Aries off, but not as much as when they go through life and get to the point where they now think of becoming their own boss or want to set up something for themselves. They begin to become very strategic, very practical. They begin to think in terms of stability outside of all of this stuff, because you have to understand, at the very 5th place of Aries, which is the natural strength and the natural tendency of it, in Aries has Leo in the 5th place. Now, during childhood, right, this ties into this, and I will explain that. But during childhood, you will notice most Aries children at childhood and teenage level, they always want to compete. They always want to be winners. Leo is the sign of the champion. You understand? And you see these people, they admire champions a lot, when it comes to sports. Aries is a sign of sports. The strength of sportsmanship is what is fun, is creativity, is play, which is what Leo is. It's not competition in the sense of holding resentment or holding strife towards another man. Sportsmanship at its core is about love and fun and playing. You understand my point? So Aries people have this natural tendency to always want to win, which is having the sign of the champion in the 5th place. The tendency to always want to win and the tendency to be composed. But during childhood, these people don't usually express this like that because the energy is still very vibrant in them. So they mostly just want to win. Some way you see them, they admire winners. They admire people who do very well in sportsmanship, in any kind of sports, in any area that they have, interest in. Leo is the sign of admiration in the 5th place of the champion. These people admire the champion, so they fashion themselves in that sense. So they take this same energy, which is also composure, Leo, in the 1st place, which is also composure, and then they eventually grow into composing themselves. Because you have to understand, these people, Aries is a sign of loneliness. These people can go on their own. These people don't usually buy into the idea of working with a group of people, if you understand what I mean. Okay, say for example, they have Libra in the 7th, right? Which is dealings with other people. Other people is what Libra is. Even in partnership, Libra is a sign of what? Mutuality, reciprocity. So you see that Aries people, their love language is reciprocity. The natural tendency for an Aries to need loyalty in any particular scenario is what this, especially when it comes to love. Because you have to understand, Leo sextiles Libra in the Aries template. Leo sextiles Libra, so the tendency to always look out for loyalty and all of that. So what an Aries does for you, they also want you to do back. And if you consider that Libra and Taurus are ruled by the same sign, even when it comes to financial commitment, an Aries still wants reciprocity. what they do for you, they expect you to do for them. Which, in this aspect too, also when it comes to luxury or food, which is their appetite, satisfying their appetite. And Aries is not someone like in the normal days now, someone that will come online and just say, I'm craving this. No. And Aries has their own money. They are not interested in bringing it to their business. So go and buy their stuff and eat by themselves. These people go alone most of the time. This is a sign of loneliness. They go alone. They are not scared to move alone. This is the sign of things, people that are, this is a sign of daring, to dare to do things. Okay, you think this, I'll go on my own. Okay, take for example here, they have Aquarius in the 11th house. Aquarius is a sign of friendship, but it's also detachment. Now, when you look at Aries being the sign of loneliness, the loner, the lone wolf, the person that likes to go alone, that likes to move alone, that is not scared to be alone. Now, when friendship isn't serving the purpose of association, which is still what the 11th place is, the purpose of association, there's no sense of belonging in any sense of purpose in being, there's no competition to want to get better. You understand? Looking at this, you also consider that Aries has Scorpio in the 8th place, and these two energies are ruled by Mars. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to tie these two in, just like the way we tie Taurus and Libra into this particular position here. We have to tie these two in, you see. When it comes to Aries is always wanting to be in a situation where they can bring out the best aspect of themselves, and if they see that there's someone who does better than them in that field, they want to transform, they want to change, they want to improve upon their situation, which is Scorpio in the 8 hours. Also, even when it comes to sex and everything, Aries people are quite territorial with their sex partners. Yes, that is one thing that is not often being talked about. Aries are very, very territorial people when it comes to sex. If anyone finds someone, sexually attractive, you have to understand that these two energies go together because they are both ruled by Mars. It's something I want to point out here. Now, if an Aries finds someone sexually attractive in this sense, you will see that an Aries, can go to the point of changing their physical appearance. You understand my point? You can go to the point, transformation. Rising sign, which is the first house, which is your physical appearance. The first thing a person sees, when the first thing a person observes when they look at you, they go ahead to the point of changing their physical appearance to want to compete in winning that mate. You understand? That mate that they consider, oh, this person is a potential partner, is a potential intimate partner. These people can go to that extent of doing that. Everything is a competition to an Aries, whether they are quietly doing it or they are openly expressing it. Whether they are doing it directly or indirectly, everything is a competition to an Aries. It's just their nature. So you often find that they transform situations like that. They transform, how they appear. If that is what they feel like, this is what it takes to get to this particular person, male or female, they are like that. They are going to change this particular aspect of their life when it comes to that point, you see. But they are also very, very territorial. And they also have this sense of power. You understand me? Aries wants power, wants to feel powerful. So you consider that Scorpio also sextiles Capricorn in this. That a Scorpio is a sign of having advantage over other people. This is the natural inclination of Aries. The first house is natural inclination, yes, but these two go hand in hand. They are both ruled by Mars. Even when you consider that Scorpio, as Aries, I think in the 6th house, which is the place of, your sense of dress, your sense of fashion. Scorpios still have the natural inclination that Aries people have in that sense. When they be like, oh, they want to, change their stuff. Their style of dress is one of the things that change. But in this case, see, physical appearance, which in most cases it expresses itself as a change of fashion. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But we are talking about the business, the strategy of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars, which is exalted in Capricorn. These people, have this tendency to want to be charismatic, to be composed. It's why I was tying Leo into Capricorn in the first place. That composure is what eventually helps them to, put that impulsive side in check. And they begin to deal with business. Why? Because they want to always have advantage over other people. They always want to have advantage over people. So when it comes to business, they are very, very businessman, because this is where Aries is exalted. This is where Mars is exalted. And Mars, which is exalted. This is where Aries is exalted. And Capricorn, which is structure, responsibility, discipline, focus, No, focus is actually Aries, but you understand what I mean. Discipline, responsibility, accountability, strategy, stability, planning. This is where Aries reaches his highest potential. This sex style, yeah. I want him to have advantage over other people. Then they have to, allow them their best self to come out, as opposed to being impulsive. Like for example, they have Sagittarius in the ninth place here, right? And you consider Sagittarius is adventure. You know those adventures videos you watch where people go skydiving and they go to very high points to dive, extreme sports. This is what Aries is. These people are very daring, even when it comes to, so they always want to win. They also want to the tendency to feel like a champion, to outdo other people, to always want to come first in everything that they are doing. This is Sagittarius here in the ninth place, adventure. This is where they overindulge in things. This is where they go overboard to prove that they can go the extra mile. You have to get stuff, because the tendency to go extreme is what Aries is. Scorpio and Aries is ruled by Mars. Scorpio is a sign of extremes, of any kind of extreme. So the tendency for an Aries to go extremes in doing things is there, because the feeling of wanting to have advantage over other people is something that you will notice about Aries people, right? And Aries being the sign of confidence, how does a sign of confidence express itself? Aries people are very, very vocal, very verbal in their expression. They have Gemini in the third place. Yes, they are very, very verbal, very, very, very. When it comes to expressing themselves, when it comes to expressing their opinion, an Aries is never going to keep quiet. They are not scared of you. This is the sign of courage and audacity. And audacity. Aries is never going to keep. They are always going to express their emotion. It's something you have to. You understand? And when it comes to like just speaking, in terms of speaking, like you have to be on a certain level. Maybe you're a sibling, a very close friend to an Aries for them to actually, keep. These people are mostly staying on their own. They are not scared to move along. Like I was saying here, having Aquarius in this place, they just detach themselves. They are not scared to go and do stuff on their own. They are not, and they'll go to the extent of telling you that they can do stuff on their own. They can get stuff done on their own. You understand my point? They can get stuff done on their own. So these people have the detachment in any such kind of association and being with friends and all. Once it doesn't serve their purpose, whatever it is, they go away. And if you understand that Aquarius opposes the fifth house, which is the natural tendency of Aries, so that opposition, they detach, the tendency to want to shine. This is what Leo is. Leo is his brightness, is to shine bright. You understand? Because it's ruled by the sun, which is gold. Gold glitters. Gold glitters. That's it. They always want to shine. It's a natural tendency of Aries, so they don't mind detaching. If this detachment is what is going to allow them to shine alone, they will do it alone. You understand me? Alone. Because if they are going to do something with you, the energy needs to be equal. Say, for example, they have Virgo in the sixth place, right? So, Virgo being in the sixth place of Aries, this is service rendered or received. You understand me? Service rendered or received. When it comes to health conditions, this will need to look out for like their belly button. Their navel, basically, yes, their gut. These people are more likely going to experience health conditions around that region of their body. Also in the place of Scorpio, I'm not going to talk about that. It has to do with sexually transmitted infection and all that stuff. Yeah, this is something else people need to also watch out for too. And when you're engaging in sex, other competitive nature of wanting to get a mate or to snatch someone from to prove they're a more potential mate than the person's partner, and to want to other effort they make because of their competitiveness. You see, their competitive side, that competitive spirit they have. You understand? So always wanting to gain advantage over other people is what is like more like the driving catalyst of Aries transforming their life, wanting to do better, having advantage over other people. Oh, I want to invest in this business. I want to go into this business. You understand what I'm saying? I want to go into this business. I need this to gain advantage over other investors or other competitors that are in that particular space. So I have to do this. This is what also our Aries thinks, that wanting to have advantage over other people. This is a natural inclination towards a lot of things. So Virgo here in this place, right? It's service for service. You know, these people, reciprocity is a lot to them. Aries is never in a position where they are subordinate. They are hardly found in situations so that they don't like situations where they are subordinate. It's only a matter of time. They always want to equate things. They always want to be at an equilibrium. In that scenario, an Aries is always want to be at an equilibrium, want to be at a point of equity. It's only a matter of time. You find them fight to come out to the point of equity. If they can't get above you, then it has to be equal. They can't be subordinate. So services to Aries is rendered or received. You do for me, I do for you. It's what Aries is about. You know, you do for me, I do for you. It's what Aries is about. So when you think of Aries, Aries has the sign of fear in the 12th place. Is Aries really a sign of fear? Are Aries people scared? No, Aries people love to put themselves in situations that forces them to confront their fears. Pisces in the 12th house. Yes, because why? What is the sign of courage doing with the sign of 12 in the sign of the sign of fear in the 12th house? They are always putting themselves in situations that forces them to confront their fears. You understand what I'm saying? Put them in situations that forces them to confront their fears. You see, so places like having Pisces now, you know, trines, Pisces trines Scorpio in the Aries chart. So the advantage, wanting to get advantage over other people, even when it's a very risky situation and very daring situation, these people want to put themselves in that position just so they can overcome their fear. And they don't want to have situations where fear stops them from getting stuff done. You understand my point? So they have Cancer in the 4th house. You understand, which is usually where, you know, challenges come into play, because these people being that daring and wanting to be alone, you know, they struggle. There's a square position between Aries and Cancer. You understand me? Yeah, it is a strong between Aries and Cancer. But because these 3 water signs are in a trine aspect for Aries, so the tendency to confront their fears, to not want to have things that, you know, they have to be scared about, so they don't necessarily, like, not wanting to have something to be scared about, if you understand what I mean. Something that because of their fear they can't get it done. It's something they don't want to have to deal with. So family is something they often have challenges with. But at some point, you know, also transforming their lives, wanting to get advantage over the other people. And it's because of their competitiveness. If they look at their neighbor and be like, this person is running their family better than I do. Because of that competitiveness, is going to also have a clash with this their natural tendency to want to just be alone. You understand? So when a family comes into the situation, Aries people are very family inclined. You understand? When you check the trine aspect to Scorpio, want you to do better than their neighbor. You understand? Aries begins to take their family life seriously. Now that person's family can't be doing better than mine. You understand? That's Aries for you. It's competition, the passion, the drive to do better, to have advantage over other people. You see, this side also. So yes, most of the Aries you find are very family oriented, very family inclined, very family, you know, oriented people. You see, so this is the sign of Aries. You know, it has all the signs in its original place, so it's not very easy to just read Aries like that. But yeah, I was able to, you know, do justice to this particular stuff. So this Aries. So coming up next will be Taurus.